Ouch. Spoiler alert, in case the language that I'm using isn't making it clear enough for you yet, I've decided not to take the PhD, and I'm gonna tell you exactly why in this video. Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Becky. I'm a fashion and lifestyle blogger. I post here on YouTube. I aim for twice a week, but I post as much as I manage, which is not twice a week. This video is one that is a bit of a weird one, because I think that, like, if you don't follow me on Instagram and haven't been like following my journey so far with the whole PhD stuff, this video might not make much sense to you. So I'm gonna give a bit of backstory, really. I have just graduated from my master's degree in consumer psychology and business. I did that in Bangor University, and before that I did my bachelor's at Bangor in psychology. And my plan was to stay at the university and take a PhD. So around November of that degree, I reached out to some lecturers in the department, in both the psychology and the business department, who I respected, and I thought that their interests kind of matched what I wanted to do. I was super into the idea of taking a look deeper at digital psychology, so the kind of consumer psychology behind consumer behavior, specifically within a digital world, and how we act as consumers in a digital world. And my plan was to kind of find a supervisor who was interested in working with me. So there is one specific lecturer in the psychology department who I really get along with and have got along with throughout my masters, and I felt like we would really work well together. Really excitingly, he was interested in working with me on this project too. Basically, he had me draw up ideas of areas I would be interested in working in, project ideas, things like that. And over the course of maybe a year or so, I was seeing him probably at least once a month, but if not twice a month, about the PhD. So because the tuition for a PhD student at Bangor University is $4,000 a year, I had decided to also apply for a tuition waiver, and basically offer to work in their marketing department in return. So that was kind of going on. I wrote a proposal. It wasn't quite finished, but we'll get to that in a minute. And I was super excited. I told loads of people that it was happening. I talked about it on Instagram so much, how excited I was for my PhD. New people that I met, and they were like, so what are you up to? What's going on in your life? I would be like, yeah, I'm gonna do a PhD. I'm so excited. And I was super excited. So yeah, that's kind of the backstory. And if you do like follow me on Instagram or have followed my YouTube for a while, that's kind of what you would know was going on, roughly. I kind of feel like I want to talk about this because it's such a big thing in my life and it's been such a big experience for me, but I don't really know where to take the video, so I don't really know how well structured this is going to be, but I guess it will give people some insight a little bit into how the PhD process works when you're not applying for a pre-funded PhD. So there are different types of PhD. Like, for example, if a lecturer in the university has a project that they want to run and they need PhD students for that, they can get funding for that, and then they can advertise these projects, and then generally these students will be paid a stipend yearly for their work on that project, and then at the end they get their PhD. But the way that I did it, because I approached lecturers and I was like, hey, I want to work with you, can we work on a project like this? There wasn't pre-approved funding there in the university for it. Spoiler alert, in case the language that I'm using isn't making it clear enough for you yet, I've decided not to take the PhD, and I'm gonna tell you exactly why in this video. I would have been taking an unpaid PhD, whereas generally a PhD students get a stipend of around $15,000 a year, but I would be not getting that. So because I was applying for a tuition waiver, if that had been granted, I would have not been paying to be there, but I wouldn't also be paid to be there. So I would have been working in the marketing department kind of to pay my tuition really. I would have been doing my PhD, I would have had to continue blogging to make enough money to support myself through it. And at the moment, blogging kind of just about gets me by. Like, it's not enough to be comfortable or have savings or any kind of like emergency fund or anything. So more than likely I would have needed like something else to supplement that income, which would have meant essentially kind of like 4 different jobs kind of things that were going on at once. So this was one of the first things that kind of started to make me doubt it. And then also I went to a party with one of my friends who's a PhD student, and I met some of her other friends who are PhD students. I was so excited. I was telling them how excited I was that I was going to do this PhD, and I was asking them about like their advice on PhD, like the process and stuff, any tips that they could give me to get it, for when I'm on it, blah blah blah. And overwhelmingly the advice that everybody gave me, every PhD student I spoke to over those few months, was don't do it. I won't lie, I didn't want other people's opinions to sway me and what I wanted to do, but it was scary that so many people who were doing it were warning me not to. It kind of made me think a little bit more about, why do I want this? Why do I do it? And things like that. Do I want this for the right reasons? Is it going to be worth it? Etc, etc. I really did kind of take a step back and reevaluate everything that was going on at this point. So with people warning me off of it, the worrying about money / times and like how much I would have to work throughout it, there was also that doing it as a part-time course, as I would have been working in the marketing department as well if I'd have been approved for this grant that I'd proposed that I would work in the marketing department. This would have meant that I would have been working kind of part-time on it, and it would have just taken a really long time, I think. So that kind of panicked me a little bit, that I would be stuck in Bangor for so much longer. The thing with Bangor is like, I kind of enjoyed my first couple years here, but Bangor is such a small town, and I came from Leeds, which is obviously a pretty big city, and sometimes it can feel absolutely suffocating. There is very much in some ways a very like small town mentality. If I'm shooting Instagram pictures on the street, the other day literally I was shooting outside a building on the high street. I was there for 5 minutes total. 2 boys were literally shouting at me the entire time I was there and kept trying to come and stand behind me so that I couldn't take pictures. I wasn't doing anything offensive or anything, they just wanted to ruin what I was doing basically. An old lady did the like and then commented to the person with her, "Do people have no shame these days?" But loud enough that I could hear them, so ouch. So there's very much like a lot of judgment with things, and I just feel like Bangor is just not the place for me, and I think I've kind of had enough. The other kind of end to that, aside from like judgmental people, is that so many work events I get invited to are Manchester, London, Birmingham, and it's just too far for me to be able to afford to get there. Whereas if I was like already somewhere else, I would be able to get there more. So this was another really big factor. And then things like, I'm not sure that I want to work. I mean, I'm not sure that I want to study for like 3, 4, even 5 years more. I think I'm ready to just work and put my all into my work, and I'm really tired of being broke. Really tired of being broke. I want to pay off my debt and get some emergency savings aside and just live a bit more of a comfortable life. So yeah, that's kind of the tea. I spoke to my tutor last week. I made the decision probably a few weeks before that, but I didn't want to say anything online until I had spoken to my tutor, the guy that I was looking at doing the PhD with. I felt like I should speak to him first before kind of announcing it on the internet. So here I am. That's kind of it. And it feels really strange because I spent like over a year working on this project, working on this proposal, working on grant applications, and then it's just not happening. And I always thought that like if I put the application in and I was turned down, I would be absolutely heartbroken. I would be like it would be like soul destroying. So it's a really strange feeling to now be sitting here and telling you I haven't put in that application because I don't want it anymore, and to tell you that I'm not going to do a PhD, and that in a few months when my other half's course finishes, I'm going to be leaving Bangor, which is so scary because until about a month ago I thought that I was going to be spending years more in Bangor, and now I don't know what's going to happen. Well, I know what I want to happen, but I don't know exactly what's actually going to happen. And this is simultaneously so terrifying and so exciting. I think the last time I had this much like uncertainty in my life would have been when I was going through A-levels and I was trying to figure out what uni I was going to go to. But I kind of knew that I was always going to end up at a uni and my student loans would pay my rent and I would get into halls. So there was never really much panic about that. And now it's like all of a sudden, I don't know where I'm going to live in 6 months. I don't know how I'm going to pay for that place. Okay, so if I've moved or the light has changed or something, my camera died. I really need to buy a new battery. My camera battery lasts about 2 hours, which is super frustrating because if I'm shooting a lot one day or if I'm filming, it frequently dies in the middle of when I'm using it, and then I have to sit and wait for it to turn back on. So yeah, number one on my list to buy things when I have some more money, camera battery. They're like £70, and I'm just like, is it worth £70? Should I just cope with it? Anyway, I'm babbling on a tangent. So in terms of what I'm actually going to do though, because I realized that I've kind of said I'm not going to take it, but I've not really said what I'm going to do with my life. For the past 18 months or so, I've been having a bit of a love affair with Manchester. Every time I've been for work or with friends and stuff, I've absolutely loved it. I just think it's such an amazing city, and there's so much like veggie stuff, vegan stuff. Like there's stuff there that like there isn't in Wales. Like in Bangor, we don't have a full cinema. We have a cinema in the university that only really shows movies that are like vintage or sometimes new kids releases. So that kind of should put into perspective to you. Oh God, winter gave me a heart attack. That should kind of put into perspective for you the size of Bangor and kind of how much is/isn't going on here. If you do follow me on Instagram, you will have seen that quite a few times throughout my whole doubting the PhD process, and kind of as I was starting to waver and be a little bit less sure, I spoke about a lot on my stories. Shall I do the PhD? Shall I go to Manchester? Shall I try and apply for one in Manchester? And lots and lots of people talked about that they thought I should go to Manchester. Lots of people thought I should do the PhD. Lots of people thought try and get a PhD in Manchester. At the moment, I'm thinking I don't want to study more right now, but obviously I do want to go to Manchester. So my other half's master's finishes at the end of May, because the counselling course is 2 years, not 1. So that's not finished yet. And then my lease on this house ends on the 31st of June. So we have to be out of this house by the end of the day, 31st of June. So the plan is, I'm so excited, like I can see myself smiling at the camera, like talking about this. So the plan is somewhere in, like I've already started applying for jobs in Manchester. And my plan like for that is that if I'm offered one, I will just kind of like get a B&B or something, stay there Monday to Friday, come back home at the weekends until we can all go and be in Manchester, and then we'll get a proper place. And if I don't get one in Manchester before then, I'm also applying for loads of work in Bangor, particularly stuff that's like with chain companies, so that I can stay with the company and just transfer to a new location in a few months. But I think what I really want to do is work like in Media City or something like that. I would really love to get some kind of role in influencer marketing. I think that rather than being like, I want to be a specific job, I want to be in a role where I'm excited about what I'm doing and I believe in the company. So we will see what comes of that closer to the time, but we're hoping to get a house with Ellis starting sometime in June, because I don't want loads of overlap to be paying the rent on 2 places for months. But if we see a really great place that starts, say, at the start of May, then I guess we'll just have to. We're moving to Manchester and it's crazy. I was so nervous to tell people. Like, I told my parents and they were so nice about it. I told my tutor and he was so great about it. My friends have been great, and it's just been so exciting that so many people are excited for us. And I've been so excited to announce it like on Instagram and talk about it there, but I feel like because I've talked about the PhD so much, it would be really confusing for me to not kind of clarify what's going on. Like, so excited to finally be talking about it, for it to not be a secret anymore. It's crazy and it's terrifying because at the moment, obviously, I'm self-employed, but my partner won't be getting a job until we get to Manchester, because obviously the course doesn't finish till the end of May, so there's no real time to get one here and stuff. So we will be moving as one of us being self-employed and one of us being unemployed. So I'm really nervous about the process of getting a house when we don't have like stable income, really. Job application process and stuff. I think that I'm gonna kind of vlog a little bit of the process. Obviously there's not going to be much going on at the moment because it's very much me applying for jobs that are super unlikely for me to get because I'm not in Manchester yet. But I'm trying, so I thought that it would be nice to vlog it a little bit. And I just won't post like weekly vlogs about it, like maybe once a month I'll do a bit of an update, and then hopefully in like 6 months time I will be doing a moving vlog in Manchester and everything will have sorted itself out. But yeah, so excited, so terrified. If you know anybody in Manchester that wants to hire, I'll do anything. No, I will. We'll see, I don't know. So yeah, that's my big kind of life update announcement, the truth about what's going on with the PhD, and lots of people did ask me to update them on the PhD process and how it went and things. So I thought that I thought this video would just kind of be my way of letting people know what's going on and talking about it. Yeah, it feels a little bit scary still to kind of put it on the internet. I've obviously, like, the decision is made, there's no going back now. I've told everybody, I've told my tutor and things like that. But it feels like once I like announce it to the world, it's going to be really official and really real, especially with my other half currently still working on a master's. It feels a little bit lonely, like, the process so far, because I'm looking into flats and trying to figure out prices and what money we're going to need and where is going to be best for us to work and stuff. And I feel like my partner is just not so interested right now because it's not the biggest thing going on. Obviously exams and placement and assignments and everything are really taking focus at the moment. So I thought that it would be nice to be able to talk to you guys a little bit about it and just share a bit more. Yeah, I don't really know how to finish this video because the point to it was kind of just telling you guys what's going on, so it feels like I don't know where the natural end is really. So very long story short, I've decided to not take the PhD and I'm gonna go live in Manchester to live my city fantasy, and that's very scary, very exciting, and I'm gonna take you guys along for the ride, hopefully. I don't know what to say. If you want to see more updates, if you want to see whether this massively fails and I end up staying in Bangor because I'm a mess, subscribe to my channel. Or is it over here? Wait. It's here, isn't it? It's here. I think it's here. I'm 90% sure it's here. Subscribe to the channel. You can see whether this goes really well or goes disastrously and I regret everything and wish that I'd taken the PhD. Drop me your comment, drop me recommendations in the comments of nice areas to live in Manchester. We're looking for as cute as possible on a budget. I've been given by my other half for an apartment, which is probably going to be a 1 bed. Ideally we'd like 2, but let's be realistic. I've been given a budget of 700, was it 7 or 6? I think it was 6 actually, which we'd like to live as close to the centre as possible because we'll both most likely be living there, and like with my blogging stuff I'll be spending a lot of time there, and I think we'll save in transport what we pay extra in the rent. It's kind of the way we're looking at it right now. So if you know any areas, I don't think anything's fitting into this budget, if you know any areas that are cute and are going to be somewhat affordable, drop me some recommendations in the comments. And if you've taken a PhD and loved it, or turned down a PhD and loved it, or regretted it, or all of the PhD things, let me know those in the comments as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video and I didn't ramble too much. I think I filmed for an hour and a half, so probably did, but you won't see most of that, so lucky you, unlucky me. But yes, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you all next time. Bye.
I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only one. No one likes being lied to.